The observer in the back seat, shifting from reaction to recognition. Take a moment and settle into a simple act of awareness. Notice the feeling of the ground beneath your feet, the subtle movement of air in the room, the rise and fall of your own breath. Now become aware of the one who is noticing. Behind the flow of thoughts, sensations, and emotions, there is a point of pure, silent observation. This is not the thinking mind. It is not the feeling of the heart. It is not the body. It is the awareness that holds them all. This is the observer. The ancient Hermetic philosophy speaks of this in foundational principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This teaches us that the patterns of the great cosmos are mirrored perfectly in the small cosmos of the self. Therefore, if you want to understand your place in the vast interconnected web of existence, look within. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. Imagine your entire being, your body, your emotions, your beliefs, as a vast and living organism. A social body made of countless individual cells. There is somewhere between 30 to 40 trillion cells in a human body, and each cell has its role. Some bring energy, others provide structure, others defend, and some communicate. From the limited perspective of a single cell deep in the tissue, its world may seem defined by its immediate neighbors. It might feel threatened by a cell of different function, or inflamed by the signals of a perceived invader. It reacts from its isolated vantage point, acting to protect a small piece of territory. This is how our ego often functions. It is the consciousness of the individual cell, believing itself to be the totality of the organism, reacting to every stimulus from a place of isolated self-interest. In this state, we see others not as different organs of the same body, but as foreign entities. Cooperation seems like a strategy, and competition feels like a law of survival. Now, shift your perspective. Imagine you are not that single reactive cell. You are the body's own innate intelligent awareness, the consciousness of the whole organism, witnessing the dance of all its parts. From this elevated seat of the observer, you see a different picture. You see the aggressive immune cell and the peaceful tissue cell are both essential. You understand that the pain of inflammation is not an attack from an enemy, but a misguided signal within a unified system. From here, there are no foreign enemies within the self. There is only a complex, dynamic, and intelligent whole. Every part, even the painful or challenging one, is necessary. This is the radical shift from identifying as the isolated cell to remembering you are the awareness of the whole body. The psychologist Carl Jung, a profound student of these Hermetic principles, understood this dynamic deeply. He stated that whatever qualities a man does not recognize in himself will confront him in real life. Outer reflects inner. That is the general rule. The they that triggers you in the outside world is, according to the immutable law of correspondence, a precise reflection of some disowned, unintegrated, or unconscious aspect of our own inner world. The conflict we perceive as an externalized signal of an internal schism. So, how do we apply this? How do we step from the front lines of reaction into the backseat of wise observation? It begins with a single powerful question. In any moment of trigger, when anger flares, when fear tightens your chest, when judgment arises, pause. Do not follow the first impulse. Instead, turn inward and ask, right now, am I responding as a frightened, isolated cell, or as the wise, intelligent awareness of the whole body. This question creates a sacred space between stimulus and response. In that space, choice is born. When you identify as a frightened cell, your options are limited to fight, flight, or freeze. Your world is small and your resources feel scarce. Every interaction is a potential threat to your fragile sovereignty. When you remember yourself as the observing intelligence, everything changes. Your perspective expands. You can witness the fear in the cell without being the fear. You can see the other person not as a mortal threat to your isolated self, but as another cluster of cells in the larger social body, acting out of their own limited programming, their own pain, their own unintegrated shadows. From here, compassion becomes a natural state, not a moral effort. You understand that their behavior, however difficult, is a form of communication from a part of the whole that is in pain. This practice is not passive acceptance of harm. The wise intelligence of the body does not ignore a cancerous growth or a raging infection. It acts, but it acts with discernment. It seeks to heal, to rebalance, to restore communication and flow, not to annihilate a part of itself in blind rage. When you act from the observer, your actions are calibrated, purposeful, and aimed at the restoration of harmony, not the victory of one fragment over another. Modern science offers a beautiful parallel to this internal shift through the lens of epigenetics. We once believed our genetic code, our biological programming, was a fixed, deterministic script. We now know this is not the case. Our genes are more like a dynamic, reactive library. While the DNA sequence, the core text, remains, its expression, which chapters are read aloud, which are silenced, is constantly being rewritten by our environment, our experiences, and critically, our perceptions and mental states. Chronic stress, rooted in the fearful perspective of the isolated cell, can trigger epigenetic changes that heighten inflammation, suppress immune function, and lock us into cycles of anxiety and defense. Conversely, states of safety, connection, and mindful awareness, the perspective of the observing whole, can promote epigenetic expressions associated with healing, resilience, and neuroplasticity. In a very real biochemical sense, shifting from a mindset of threat to a mindset of connected awareness can literally reprogram your physical being for health. This is the ultimate alchemy. By repeatedly choosing the seat of the observer, you are not just changing your mood, you are engaging in mental transmutation, a core Hermetic art. You are using the lever of consciousness to change your vibration, to reconcile inner polarities, and to alter the cause and effect chains of your life. You are reprogramming your personal DNA from the inside out, moving its expression from fragmentation toward wholeness. So when you find yourself in conflict, within or without, remember the two perspectives. You can be lost in the drama of the cell, convinced the world is ending, or you can take a breath, feel the vastness of your own awareness, and ascend to the backseat. From there, you see it all. The pain, the fear, the aggression, the love. You see it not as a problem to be eradicated, but as data from the body of your being. Your task is not to fight any of it, but to understand it, to listen to its message, to reintegrate the exiled parts with the compassion of the whole. For in the final truth of correspondence, the harmony you wish to see in the world, the cooperation you long for in your relationships, must first be established in the relationship between the observer and all the observed elements within you. As you find peace and intelligent order in your inner kingdom, that same frequency, by unbreakable law, will reflect itself in the kingdom of your life. You are not just a cell. You are the awareness in which the entire body lives and moves and has its being. Return to that seat. The view from there changes everything.